Hey there, everybody. How's it going? Nice to see you again. Thanks for tuning in. So one of the things I really don't like about darkroom printing, and it really keeps me out of the darkroom, is I hate enlarging a negative. It's the worst part for me of darkroom photography because, in a word, dust. It's a real issue. I absolutely hate it. Contact prints are much easier. And the problem with enlarging a negative is that you're magnifying the negative, assuming it's, not an 8x10 negative. And so you're enlarging the dust. And there's no such thing as a 100% clean negative. It's really annoying. And it's the number one thing that makes digital photography so much more appealing. Even to the point where scanned negatives, film negatives, you can remove the dust in your software in DxO Photolab, and it's easier. But then print digitally, of course. But having said that, the darkroom print is obviously, So what's this all about? Well, AOWS Adrian just recently released a video where he printed a bunch of his digital files. So he went to Hidden Light in Indiana, which is about an hour away from where he lives, which is really interesting. And he went there and printed with the guy who runs Hidden Light. I'm sorry, I forgot his name, but he's got videos up here, really interesting. He specializes in platinum and palladium printing, which is a process I've never used, but it looks really interesting. Having said all that, they're printing from digital negatives. And they use a Pictorico as one company that makes transparencies. As you can print on your inkjet printer, you print a negative, and then you contact print it platinum palladium. You can also contact print it silver. I don't know. That looks like a really interesting process. It kind of is the best of both worlds. You can digitally capture your images and then print them either silver-based or palladium, platinum palladium, and reintroduce. It's a really weird, which is coming first, the cart or the horse, in the sense that you're using a completely modern digital capture technique, and yet you're printing on, I don't know, a 100-year-old process, a 150-year-old process, 125 years maybe, probably be a better guess. So it absolutely reintroduces back into the mix the handmade artist's interpretation of the image, even if you're digitally capturing it, which is a really fascinating concept. Now, it's not really that difficult to get into it. You really don't even need a darkroom per se. It helps if you have a darkroom sync, I get that, but you don't really need it in the sense that all you need is a UV light source. And now I just ordered off of Amazon 2 light panels. I probably only need one. It's a UV light source. They're $30 for 2, I think. And you put that in a box, and then I already have the contact frame for up to 8x10, 8.5 by 11. And you need paper. You need the emulsion, which is the expensive bit. And you paint the emulsion on your paper, and then you put your digital negative on there to the size you want your print, 8x8, 8x10, etc. Put it in your frame, expose it to the UV light, develop it, and you're done. I mean, it looks like a really interesting process for platinum palladium printing. However, it's also just as easy for silver. It's actually easier in a sense because it's your standard silver process, except you're just making contact prints. If the digital negative actually works, and it's not that difficult to dial in, which doesn't seem to be too bad, this could be a really interesting process where the end result is a fine art, archival. I mean, the platinum prints are supposed to be absolutely the platinum standard in terms of archivability if they're processed correctly. And it's not that big a deal to process them correctly. You just need to, have an archival print washer already. So you give them a good wash and you process them properly, and they're saying thousands of years the image will remain in the paper. So yeah, it seems even more stable than silver gelatin, which is interesting. So this is a thing. So what's the outlay? We got $30 in 2 UV lamps. I need to fabricate some kind of a box or some kind of a stand to hold the lamp about a foot above the contact print. I already have the contact frame, but a sheet of glass would work as well. And you need the paper. That's about $50 for 25 sheets. So it's $2 a sheet for the paper. And then it's about $250, $275 for enough emulsion and chemicals to make 25 prints, approximately. So that's about 15 bucks per print. On the other hand, you're probably not going to be making a whole lot of those prints. It's only for your very best work that really is. I find it also interesting from the standpoint of it, definitely. So you take a bunch of digital pictures or photographs, and then, they go up the ladder and you say to yourself, okay, I'll print this one in silver, see what it looks like. And it's like, ooh, I really like that. I'm going to print it in platinum because it's that good. It's a way to self-limit or to choose or to curate the work that you want to say, or you want to represent your work, the work that you want to represent your vision, shall we say. So very interesting. Chemicals, Bostic and Sullivan is a place out of New Mexico. They sell the chemicals, and you need a brush. They sell the brushes too. Brushes like $5. I mean, it's very minimal. Just the chemicals are the expensive part, about $275 for the chemicals, $50 for paper. So we're looking at about $325 investment in terms of that. But that's 25 prints, and I have a feeling you're not going to be ripping them out all the time. It's, I'm sure there's a learning curve, but whatever. And that the end result is you've got a print, assuming it turns out and it's any good, and it's the print that you want, you've got a print that is highly collectible and highly desired amongst collectors of photographic art. And so it's very appealing to me. It really is a very interesting, it's like the most fun of all the genres, the most fun of all the processes, in the sense that, there's no doubt that shooting digitally is a lot of fun because you don't have to film, you don't have to worry about the film, etc. You don't have to the costs of the film. You can shoot anything you want. It's unlimited freedom. But in that freedom, it's a double-edged sword, because how do you separate out the best photographs from the ones that are just okay? And it's a question of commitment. And so what it comes down to is, if you say I'm going to spend $15 on this print, maybe $45 because it takes two prints to dial in the negative that you've printed digitally. You're spending $50 on a print. That better be work that you say, yes, this represents what I want to say, my vision in photography. So a very appealing process. And I think it completely, or 99%, mitigates the dust issues, because your digital negative should be clean and contact prints are clean. They're very easy to clean off. It's not like enlargement, which is just fraught with it's a difficult process to get everything super clean. So so that's the direction I'm headed in, or what intrigues me right now in terms of photography. And I'm waiting, like all these old processes, not to mention that this process is also conducive for shooting 4x5 or 8x10, particularly 8x10. You get an 8x10 negative that's contact printable, you can make a palladium print out of it. So that's another possibility. So a lot of options here, and it's very interesting, kind of a reverse hybrid process that sounds really intriguing. The question is how difficult is it going to be to dial in prints that are worthy. And that's the rabbit hole I'm going down right now. Anyway, thanks for watching. Still getting over this cold. There's allergies too, whatever. Patreon's going great guns. Lots of supporters there. And thank you to all my Patreon supporters. I really appreciate it. Fantastic. So go check out Patreon if you haven't. It's really cool and a lot of fun. And of course, the name of the game here on YouTube is subscribers, and it's kind of responsible for why you get the content you get and you complain about. But that's the name of the game. If a YouTuber is not successful by getting subscribers, then they don't keep making content. It's just the way it is. If you like this at all and you want to support it, subscribe. I appreciate it. Also, before I end, if you guys have any questions about this process, I'm in the stage of discovery here right now, but I'll try to answer your questions as best I can in terms of what I've discovered and what I'm planning. So pop it in the comments below. Anyway, all right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you out there. Have a great one.